Ever wonder about the silent battles being fought, the intelligence gathered in the shadows that shapes our world? Today, we're plunging right into that unseen realm. We're looking specifically at India's Directorate of Military Intelligence and MI.
Exactly. And we've, sifted through quite a bit of detail to bring you a focused understanding of this really critical organization. Our aim here is to sort of cut through the noise, deliver the essential knowledge about the MI's origins, its inner workings, and, yeah, some of the pivotal, often unexpected operations it's undertaken.
So think of this as your express route to getting informed.
That's the idea.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning then. What's fascinating to me is that the MI's roots weren't actually in independent India. It came into existence during the thick of World War II, right? 1941.
That's absolutely right. It was established as a vital component of the British Indian Army. Its main job then, generating immediate field intelligence during that global conflict. Then, post-independence, its initial focus was largely, tactical intelligence in India's bordering nations. Okay, but as we'll get into, its role has definitely evolved significantly since those early days.
Right. And as its role broadened, I guess its core mission must have expanded too. So, in today's context, what is the fundamental purpose of the MI?
Okay, the central mission, and our sources are quite clear on this, it's to provide timely, relevant, accurate, and synchronized intelligence support. And that's for the Indian Army at, like, all levels, tactical, operational, and strategic levels, exactly, helping commanders make those critical decisions.
So, they're essentially the eyes and ears for the Army, giving them the best possible information.
Pretty much.
But it's not just about offense, is it? Gathering intel. There's a defensive side, too.
Oh, absolutely, a crucial defensive aspect. The MI also carries out a vital counterintelligence role. That basically means identifying, detecting, and neutralizing any hostile intelligence activities aimed at the Indian Army, from within or trying to get in.
Safeguarding their own people and info. Makes sense.
Precise.
Okay, right. So we have a picture of what they do. Now let's look at the organization itself. The structure, the people involved.
Sure. So the MI is a pretty substantial organization. We're talking around 3,700 personnel dedicated to intelligence duties.
Wow.
Their central command, the HQ, is at Sanapawan in New Delhi. That's the Army's headquarters complex. And their motto is always alert.
Always alert. Yeah, that definitely encapsulates their operational mindset, doesn't it?
It does. And we also know, for instance, a past Director General was Lieutenant General R.S. Raman, who also held the esteemed position of Colonel of the regiment.
Okay. Now, in terms of direct operations, you mentioned borders earlier. What's their specific geographical area focus?
Yeah, the sources specify an operational geographical mandate extending up to about 50 kilometers from India's borders.
50 kilometers.
Right. Now, obviously, their intelligence gathering and analysis reach goes way beyond that, but this 50-kilometer zone seems to be the area for their, let's say, direct operational activities.
That gives us a sense of their immediate patch. So where do these, thousands of individuals get the specialized skills for this kind of work? You can't just learn this on the job, surely.
Absolutely not. The primary training institution is the Military Intelligence Training School in Depot. It's called MNTSD, MINTSD, and it's situated down in Pune.
Pune.
And this place actually has a pretty interesting history itself. It wasn't always in Pune. It started in Karachi back in 1941.
Oh, really?
Yeah, then it moved to Murree after partition, then to Mohau, before finally settling in Pune in 1952. So quite a journey, reflecting the subcontinent's own history.
Wow. Yeah, history etched right into its location. And it's not just for Army folks, is it? The training is broader.
That's a really crucial point.
Yeah.
MINTSD is it's a comprehensive training center. It takes personnel from across the Indian Armed Forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, but also paramilitary organizations, civilian intelligence agencies, and even individuals from friendly foreign countries. It's a real melting pot for intelligence learning.
This sounds like a very, very comprehensive approach to building those capabilities. What sort of courses are they actually running there? It must be more than just, basic spy stuff.
Oh, definitely. MINTSD offers a structured academic framework. It's actually under the Savitribai Phule Pune University. They grant diplomas in quite diverse fields: combat intelligence and security, management of intelligence and security teams, management of intelligence and security itself, intelligence analysis and management, intelligence tradecraft and practice, satellite and aerial imagery interpretation, and even security with a specialization in counterintelligence.
So it's far beyond the sort of cloak and dagger image. It's deeply academic and specialized.
Exactly. It's a serious profession requiring deep study.
Okay, so we've got a solid foundation now on the MI's history, its mission, the structure, how they train their people. Let's delve into the really gripping part where the MI has actually been active. Our sources detail some truly significant operations and historical contexts.
Yes, and the MI's operational history is, well, extensive. It really stretches from World War II right through all of India's major conflicts. We're talking the Indo-Pakistani Wars, 47, 48, 65, 71, the Indochina War in 62. Their involvement, interestingly, in the Afghan Civil War in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Right.
The Kargil War, of course, and more recently, things like the 2016 surgical strikes across the line of control.
That's quite a record. One operation that really jumped out at me was that 1957 reconnaissance mission in Aksai Chin. That sounds incredibly bold.
It was remarkably daring. Early 1957, you had two MI officers actually infiltrate Chinese-held territory in Aksai Chin.
Ow.
To gather irrefutable evidence of China building that illegal road, they disguised themselves as yak grazers.
Yak grazers,
Seriously.
seriously.
This first-hand intelligence was absolutely critical. It gave the Indian government concrete proof of what was happening, these incursions into disputed territory. Really highlights the lengths operatives go to.
Risking everything for that vital piece of intel. Incredible. Then there's their involvement, you mentioned in Afghanistan, which is such a complex situation.
Yes, in the late 1990s, MI officers were deployed first into Tajikistan and then subsequently into Afghanistan itself.
Right.
Their main goal was providing support to the Northern Alliance, led by Ahmad Shah Massoud in their fight against the Taliban regime.
Right.
And this support continued right up until the U.S.-led coalition forces intervened after the 9/11 attacks. So it shows the MI playing a role in that really complex geopolitical landscape.
And then there's Operation Leech in Myanmar that sounds like something straight out of an espionage thriller novel.
Operation Leech, yeah. 1998, it was definitely a high-stakes operation.
Yeah.
You had an MI operative go deep undercover. He convincingly impersonated a Khalistani terrorist to infiltrate a gun-running insurgent group operating out of Myanmar.
Wow.
The whole thing culminated in a meticulously planned encounter, sort of death trap, in the Andaman Islands, which effectively neutralized that group.
So they lured them there.
Seems like it. But what's really fascinating here is the dual purpose. Yes, neutralize the threat, but it was also a strategic outreach to the Burmese junta ruling at the time, and partly aimed at offsetting China's growing influence in the region.
Ah, so intelligence operations with significant diplomatic implications, not just tactical.
Exactly. Shows how these things can work on multiple levels.
And the MI's activities extended into Bangladesh as well, focusing on insurgent groups there.
Absolutely. The MI played a significant role in tackling the issue of safe havens in Bangladesh being used by groups like ULFA, the United Liberation Front of Assam, and the UNLF from Manipur. After the Hasina government came to power in Bangladesh in 2009, this was a major intelligence success.
Yeah.
The entire leadership of both ULFA and UNLF were handed over to Indian authorities.
The entire leadership.
The entire leadership. A huge blow to those groups and a big boost for regional security.
That is a major strategic win. And I was surprised to read that the MI even warned the Bangladeshi prime minister about a potential coup.
Yes, that was in January 2012. The MI apparently provided critical intelligence to Sheikh Hasina about a potential coup being plotted within the Bangladeshi army. This timely warning allowed her government to take the necessary steps, and ultimately the coup was prevented.
Underscores the proactive role intel agencies can play in regional stability.
Definitely. Sometimes preventing things is the biggest success.
It really seems their reach and influence are quite significant, and in more recent times, we've obviously heard about the cross-border counterterrorism operations.
Yes, since around 2005, the MI has been actively involved in numerous cross-border counterterrorism ops across the line of control into Pakistan. The 2016 surgical strike, which got a lot of public attention, is probably the most prominent recent example of these kinds of direct actions.
However, it hasn't all been smooth sailing, has it? Our sources also bring up the controversial Samba spy scandal from 1978.
Yes. That's a significant and, frankly, quite a complex chapter in the MI's history. The Samba spy scandal. Back in 1978, the Directorate wrongly implicated 3 Indian Army officers, claiming they were spying for Pakistan.
Wrongly implicated.
Yes. These accusations were later proven to be false. It was a terrible miscarriage of justice and left a lasting mark on the organization's reputation. It really highlights the immense responsibility and the potential for grave errors in intelligence work.
Absolutely. Underscores the power these organizations wield and the need for checks and balances. Now, the MI operates within a broader intelligence framework in India, doesn't it? It's not the only player.
No, definitely not. It's part of a larger intelligence architecture. Our sources mention other key intelligence directorates. There's the Defense Intelligence Agency, the DIA, which likely handles broader defense intelligence assessments. Then you have the Directorate of Air
Oh,
Intelligence.
the Air Force.
Right. And the Directorate of Naval Intelligence, focusing on maritime threats. And also something called the Technical Support Division, TSD.
Hmm.
Each presumably plays a distinct role in the overall defense intelligence picture, though the exact interactions aren't fully detailed in what we looked at.
Okay, right. We have covered a huge amount of ground here. If
Yeah.
you had to boil it down, what would you say are the most crucial things for our listeners to take away from this deep dive into the Directorate of Military Intelligence?
Okay, key takeaways. Firstly, I'd say the MI has this long and evolving history, right? Adapting from its wartime origins in 41 to meet today's security challenges. Secondly, its core mission is twofold, providing that vital intelligence support across all levels for the Army and conducting essential counterintelligence, protecting itself.
Intel and counter-intel. Got it.
Thirdly, the importance of its training infrastructure, especially NSD in Pune, in creating skilled intelligence professionals shouldn't be underestimated. And finally, I think its involvement in so many significant historical events and operations, from that incredible Oksai Chin mission to the recent cross-border strikes, really underscores its active, often pivotal role in safeguarding India's national interests.
It certainly provided a much, much clearer picture of this vital, often unseen organization. So for you, the listener, as you think about this, consider the increasingly intricate, maybe unpredictable global landscape we're in. What future challenges and adaptations might an organization like the Directorate of Military Intelligence face? Think about the changing nature of conflict, the growing threats in the cyber domain, the constant pressure to outmaneuver potential adversaries. What kind of balance will they need to strike between, say, traditional covert ops, the human element, and harnessing cutting-edge tech for that deep strategic analysis in this modern intelligence era? It's definitely something to contemplate.